When we think about what does recovery mean, we have this little graph. I'm plotting wealth and economic activity. So this is things you own and the things you continue to create, businesses continuing to be in place. And for our society, we expect that to grow with time. If we don't actually grow, we consider it a recession. Right? But and you can also this is plotted in terms of money, but it is also people. This is people having jobs. This is people being able to live, being people having a decent standard of living. And when a disaster happens, when an earthquake comes in, we lose things. Things are destroyed. We lose our existing wealth, but we also stop our economic activity. You can't go back to work without electricity or water or the various things of our community. What we are trying to do is get that economic activity to return to normal as quickly as possible. We did this with the Northridge earthquake. We did this with the Loma Prieta earthquake in Northern California. People came in. We had, when 40% of the buildings that were damaged, the houses that were damaged in the Northridge earthquake had earthquake insurance. So those people received insurance payments. They were able to hire contractors. They hire subcontractors. We got the economic engine going much more quickly. It doesn't have to happen that way. If we don't get that influx of funds, if we have people who give up and leave and don't want to come back, you could have the economic recovery falter. This is, if you look at what happened in New Orleans after Katrina, you see a situation much like this, where they started to come back, money was coming in, but people just weren't there. And the whole the economic activity of the region fell down, and we went into a very long-term depression. And if you compare the areas under the curves between these two situations, you can see that the money lost in that delayed recovery can dwarf what happens in the disaster itself. So, what is the most important thing in being able to recover from an earthquake is being able to get back on our feet quickly enough that we can get our economic activity going again. So, how do we do that? How do we make the difference between that catastrophic line and the disaster line? Top of the list for me, mitigation. If you prevent the damage in the first place, you won't have something that you need to respond to. And all damage is preventable. The question is whether or not it's cost effective to prevent it, and you need to balance it out against what else you can do. I would strongly recommend, if you want to follow up on this idea, there is a report called Mitigation Saves that actually goes through and looks at the cost effectiveness of various mitigation techniques. And as I said, this mitigation of soft first story turns out to be the most cost-effective mitigation for earthquakes in their whole analysis. Okay. The other thing, though, is planning. If you know what to do, you can do it more effectively. And if you're already connected, you get the people to stay. So just working within your own community to do that will make a difference.